Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started.
Well, hello guys, how you doing?
Good, David. What's going on, my brother?
Well, another great podcast. This is going to be a fun one, I think. But before we get started, let's talk about what happened on this day, Glenn.
On this day in automotive history, July 21st, 1974, the very last Volkswagen Karmann Ghia rolled off the assembly line in Germany.
Fun car.
It was a cool-looking, fun car, combining the reliable mechanics of the Beetle with a gorgeous Italian-styled body. Volkswagen sold over 445,000 units before being retired. My dad actually had a Karmann Ghia, so it was a fun car.
I had two of them when in high school, and they were too small for me to drive. That was the one part about it.
If you're a big guy like you, it's like, you'd have to crush yourself into the thing.
But they were awesome cars. I loved them.
We had a customer that had like 2 or 3 of them up the street from the shop and used to bring them into the shop a lot. I don't know whatever happened to him. I haven't seen him in a long, long time. And the vehicles, but yeah, they were just a really unique vehicle.
And you know what's interesting is if you look at the Volkswagens of those years, they were simple. They were really simple. And yet, I mean, they were stinking fun. I mean, it was a joy to actually get in and drive the thing. It was like they were overpowered and anything else, and you could do all kinds of stuff to make them more fast. But man, they were cool to look at. They were cool to be in. That's fun. Car.
Their shortcomings are mostly oil leaks and that kind of.
Well, if they weren't leaking oil, the car didn't have any oil in it.
That's how you gauged it. Yeah. When it quit dripping on the ground, you needed to fill it up. There you go. They didn't have a dipstick. They just looked.
A friend of mine had when I was a kid, my friend of mine had a Harley, and he said, he told me that all the time because back then, the older Harleys and stuff. He said, if this thing ain't leaking oil, I'm worried I don't have any oil in there.
I like it.
I thought it was kind of funny. But
well, let me get to the quote of the day because this is really along the topic about what we're going to be talking about.
Cool.
Guys, myths are things that never happened but always are. They are dangerous because they comfort us, giving us a false sense of understanding while keeping us blind to the actual machinery of the world.
Wow.
That's true.
It's really kind of funny because, really, there's so many things out there, and there's TV shows out there that are just like MythBusters and
false news.
You watch that
all
stuff,
day long.
You watch that stuff, and there's things that people really believe that is true, and then all of a sudden, when they do the science on it or whatever they're trying to, and they prove it to be a total farce. It's a myth. It's not real.
Right.
But it started out. It's kind of like that thing when you're in school and they tell you to whisper something to the person next to you. By the time it comes around, it's like not even close to what it started out as. Yeah. And I think that's the way a lot of myths are too. Is that it started out with somebody saying, this is what I did, this is how I did it, this is what happened. But it got so watered down by the time it came around, the whole thing was just, now you can do this, and there's some just crazy things that with the internet today, you just find all kinds of things on the internet.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's talk about specifically some of the myths, that are pertaining to cars. Because I can tell you, like probably 3 or 10 right off the top of my head, but the first one that I've always heard.
Well, hold on a second. Before you start that, if I don't do this, I'm going to get yelled at by our producer. Is that if you like the show, please like and subscribe to podcast underneaththehood.com. That would be great. We'd love to have you part of our show. And there again, if there's anything you'd like to hear in any of our podcasts, please let us know. We will definitely do the research on it and do it for you. So, and to your point, yes, we need to get into this to try to figure out on on vehicles, because that's what we're here to do. We all own shops, and we hear this stuff all the time from our clients, from vendors, from people, and we hear this, well, is this true? Is this not true? And so we have to kind of dispel it and try to figure it out.
Now I want to bring up something that we didn't kind of talk about, so it'll be generally organic, but I wanted to throw this out there because it truly is a myth, all right, in our industry, but I want to throw it out and I want to get your reactions, okay? I want to get your genuine reaction. Ready? One size fits all. I can use this product in 13 different lines. So in other words, let's talk about coolant. I can use this because it fits multiple vehicles, and if all I have to do is use that and I'm covered, I'm good.
Myth.
Is that a truth or a myth?
It's a myth.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean one size doesn't fit all, Glenn?
Well, you're specifically talking about antifreezes. The manufacturers have specifically designed antifreezes, even though they may contain similar chemicals. It's not the exact stuff that's made for the nomenclature or the makeup of their engines. What flows through their engines, through their radiators, through their hoses and stuff like that. They make it specifically to give that vehicle a chance to have its best longevity as far as the cooling system is concerned.
So many cars are very specific.
Very specific.
So one of the things you just brought up there, it kind of triggered me a little bit and made me think of something, is that when you go to your pharmacy and the doctor prescribes a drug, this drug may cost $500 a bottle, and then they've got a generic which may cost $50 a bottle. The knockoff. So they do the same thing, or
supposedly,
quote unquote,
supposedly. But also too, the thing of it is like in our world, if it fits, doesn't always mean that it's right.
That's correct.
And I guess that's the point. That's what we're trying to get across there is that if it fits, it doesn't work. Now, some vehicles,
if the shoe fits, wear it is not applicable here, or what?
Not at all.
No, unfortunately, no. It's not.
That could be dangerous in this case.
Yeah, and so
costly at least.
So one size doesn't fit all.
That's correct.
Let's give you an example here. Another thing is that you must change your engine oil every 3,000 miles, or you will ruin your engine.
It's a myth.
Yeah,
it's a myth.
It's a myth. Depending on what car you're driving, what you do with the car, what kind of oil you're using. There's so many things that go into that you can't just blanket statement and say that. It just doesn't work in today's world.
There's no question about it.
And I'll give you an example. One of the things that back in the day we'd put motor oil, and cars that had some issues, maybe a little bit of noise in the engine or whatever, we put motor honey in there.
A little thicker weight.
And the stuff that we used, you had to put it in a microwave in order to heat it up so it'd pour out of the bottle. Because
it was a viscosity booster.
Yeah, it was so thick, right? But now, in today's world, thinner is better.
Well, they're using oils now, 0.8s, and I understand they're going to a 0.4 weight oil. Okay? These are thinner than water, guys.
It's ridiculous.
But
how can this lubricate it?
But we can't use motor honey in that oil.
Right.
We can't, or in that car. You know what I mean? That would literally lock up the motor.
Well, and the tolerance in these motors are so tight nowadays.
Absolutely.
That the thicker doesn't work. It doesn't get to the places where it needs to be lubricated.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So that's a total myth. Right. And so things have changed. The technology in oil has changed. The technology in the motors has changed. So yes, it definitely. And there again, I preach this all the time, and I say that's why you get with your service provider and ask those questions.
I'm going to throw another one out.
I'm going to throw one out too after you're done.
Just for the fun of it. 15,000 miles between oil changes is acceptable.
Nope.
Wait, it's in my manual.
Yeah, well,
my manual says...
Manual needs to go back to school.
But the manual, the way...
It's got a D.
You got a D in oil change interval.
No, what I tell my clients is that manual is the same in Phoenix, Arizona, as it is in Colorado, where we have total different climates.
There we go.
Here's mine. When is oil lubrication most crucial? At what point? Is it on startup? Is it on when you're going 10,000 RPMs? And when is it most crucial to have lubrication?
Both of those scenarios, because on startup, it's critical that, you know what I mean, you have oil in the places where it needs to be. But at 10,000 RPM, you better have the oil where it needs to go.
True that.
You know.
But yeah, if you had to choose between those two extremes,
10,000
absolutely
RPM.
a startup. Yeah. It's on startup. If you don't have good lubrication on startup, you're damaging your motor before it has a chance to even.
You bet.
Have 10 cycles run through it.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, the next one. We got to get through like 10 of these. So.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is so rampant in our industry, with the myths, that I think this is a really fun conversation context because literally, Glenn, you said you had one. Throw it out there, because it would be unfair to not have him throw it out there.
No, he did. He just threw it out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he just threw it out there.
That is when is it most crucial?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
So, all right, let's.
I missed it. It was a flyby.
Yeah. So let's move on to air conditioning. When your AC, your air conditioning Freon is low, just add more.
Myth.
Yeah. So I have this conversation at least, we have it at least a dozen times a week with clients.
Us too.
Where I don't see any leaks under my car. Well,
yeah, you're not going to.
Because it's a gas.
It's a gas. And I tell them all the time, I go, it's like hairspray. It just dissipates in the air.
But interestingly enough,
I just say, when you fart, can you see it? So there you go.
Wow. We can end the show now.
It's gas. It's gas. You can't see it.
It's a very poor visual.
Yeah, that's a very poor visual. So no, but the point is that, okay, so if it's a closed system, we'll agree on this,
you
right?
Bet.
Let's stick with this.
Yes.
It's a closed system, and if it's low on Freon, there's another problem.
There is another problem.
So if you're adding Freon to it, isn't going to solve that problem, because guess what? In another week, month, 3 months, whatever.
Wait. They sell Freon cans with sealer in it.
Yeah, never put that in your car. I will tell you this.
You want to blow up your car quick?
Well, listen. Here's the thing. You brought up something that is a hot point for me. That sealer.
I usually do.
Okay, that sealer will destroy the equipment that we spend a lot of money to pay for to make sure that we can do the jobs correctly, all right, on your vehicles.
We suck that stuff into our...
We won't. We have identifiers, so we know what's in your system before we're ever going to hook our equipment up and pull that out. And if it has it in there, unfortunately, we're going to have to send you down the road to someplace else that will extract that, get rid of it, because it's not going into our machines and equipment. So just because they sell it doesn't mean you should buy it. Well, just because they sell it doesn't mean you should buy it. Don't ever buy it. It's really bad, not only for the environment, but for your car and for every other, the company that ever has to handle it.
Right.
It's bad.
Then if it goes, but if it doesn't work and the customer's still losing Freon.
Well, how often does it work, Dave? Never.
Well, but the point is that if they bring it in now, they've already contaminated the system.
Correct.
And so now you got to replace the part.
Now you got to start over.
Yeah. Now you got to start over, and now you got to
replace everything.
Yeah. You got to contaminate,
including what's in the dash.
What had the appearance of being a cheap repair has now magnified and intensified tenfold.
We all agree that's a myth.
Tenfold.
That's a myth.
Totally.
But I will tell you this, with air conditioning, and this is another thing, and I'll ask this question. Air conditioning is a sealed system, okay? And out here in Arizona, it is kind of a vital thing for us to have out, especially in the hot summer months. And depending on age, it's really important to have it. However, is it something that is a routine service type of a system? Should you have your system checked at least once per annum?
Because we have cars that come in that they feel cool, but when you put the gauges on them, they are not up to the pressures that they need to be, which makes them work optimally. And your compressor will run less. You'll save fuel economy by not having the compressor running constantly to try to keep the temperature where you're setting it at inside of your
But see, now, Glenn, and you're exactly right.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah, well, and I guess what I'm trying to help everyone understand is you need to have your air conditioning system at least once a year evacuated and recharged to make sure that you have the proper oil levels, that you don't have any contamination in there. Air is a contaminant, okay? So if you have Freon that went out, then you have air to displace it. That's what a lot of times people don't recognize. The other thing is, if you do have a leak in your system, it'll leak the gas, but what else is leaked out? in that system?
The oil.
And what is probably one of the most vital parts of that system?
Lubrication.
Well, yeah, right, because the Freon actually carries the oil
Bingo.
and keeps the system lubricated.
Circulates it.
But it's no different than your house. I mean, you hear it every day on an advertisement that somebody says you need to get your air conditioning in your house checked once a year, and it's the same in your car because they're basically kind of almost similar systems. And then also to make sure the condenser doesn't have a bunch of stuff in front of it.
You bet.
Proper air
Clean them.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. There is definitely
It is maintenance. Glenn, man, thank you.
Thank you.
It is all about maintenance, and you can do maintenance on your air conditioning system that will help prolong the life of your AC system. And if you do, it's going to pay dividends. It's going to pay tenfold. Because here's the problem. If you don't, the system will last and it'll provide the cold air that you expect. But when you get in the car, I mean, let's face it. Cars are tools. We get in the car, we expect it to start. If it doesn't start, we're frustrated. Okay, that's number one. But if we turn the air on, we expect it to be cold almost immediately. Before we get out of the driveway, we don't expect it to have to go through its process of exhausting the cab of the 150-degree air, because we left the windows up, all right? And then drive down the road and heaven forbid, we have sweat rolling down our forehead because, it didn't get cold fast enough. All right. But the only time we really notice there's a problem is after about a minute or so we're driving and we're now profusely sweating because it's really not getting cold. We put our hand in front of the vent, it doesn't feel cold. Yep. That's when maybe we make an appointment to go get it checked.
And I was going to go ahead. I was going to say is manufacturers have also incorporated many models, and I think they're moving more towards it than away from it, is putting louvers in front of the grills, behind the grill and in front of the radiator and condenser. Right. So if those louvers are stuck shut, the airflow going through there that's supposed to go through your condenser and through your radiator is going to cause the things to overheat. It'll short cycle your air conditioning system, which will turn off because it'll overpressurize because it's not getting the coolant flow, the airflow, I should say, to keep that condenser at a temperature that is adequate for the application.
So guys,
we've hit air. So I got one more that I want to add, Dave. You got
to make it quick, man.
All right. Oh, here's the thing. One of the biggest myths out there, because I get people come in every day say this: should you ever flush your transmission fluid?
Oh no, we're going to get to that. That's number 5.
Yeah. We're going down.
I like it. No, Dave, you got a list.
We're still on number 1.
Come on, do share, brother. Do share.
Because here's actually that's number 4. I lied to you. But number 3, number 3 is top off your brake fluid when it is low.
Never.
Okay.
I would say no. The reason why is because if your brake fluid is low, it's because you either have worn out brakes, and what is absorbed, that missing fluid that's in there is still sitting in your calipers, which is what compresses and pushes against the rotors, which stops your vehicle. And it doesn't go back into the master cylinder. So when you look at your master cylinder and the levels low, it means your brakes are wearing out.
Right. And I would say, okay, there are certain times where you would top it off, and the reason is if your pedal starts to feel a little bit spongy, maybe it's gotten a little lower, put some fluid in it so you can either get the vehicle to a shop or.
And no, I agree with that.
As an emergency,
I agree with that.
I totally agree.
As an emergency measure, if you don't have brake fluid, let's get brake fluid in it. But to Glenn's point, the system,
there's a reason why
the system is designed as a closed system. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
The system is designed as a closed system. In most cases, if you open the hood and you look at the reservoir, it's clearly marked high and low.
Yeah.
And there is a float in all of those systems that has, it's equated to a lamp that illuminates on the dash, that when it gets down below the low level, it turns on the light. It turns on the light.
It says brake.
That says brake, right. And it turns on that light so that it is an alert. It's a red light. In all cases, it's a red light. Right? It turns on an alert that is to help us understand we need to get this thing inspected immediately, because we might not find a leak at the wheels. We may not find a leak, the wheel cylinders. If you have to have drum brakes, we might not find a leak even in the calipers, even though those are all areas that potentially could leak. You could have a line leaking, but we may have a master cylinder that's leaking into the booster. And you won't ever see that until it fills up to a level that it'll come back out of the booster, which is generally well below. And the only time that would really come back out is when people have, I'll just add a little bit more fluid. I'll just add a little bit more fluid. I'll just add a little more.
Well, that definitely, and what Lee's talking about is the power booster. That's actually what gives you power assist on your brake pedal. Without it, your brake pedal is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
So it softens up the pedal, makes it easier to push, makes the vehicle easier to stop. So yeah, and Lee's 100% right. The thing of it is if that. And you've got these ABS systems too, and there's so much more that
that's anti-lock brake systems.
Yeah, right. And they've gone into we've gotten the anti-lock brake systems. So there's so much more technical stuff that is in the brake system than ever used to be before. It used to be a booster, a master cylinder, wheel cylinders, and calipers.
ABS has motors that pulsate the fluid so your wheels don't lock up when you're in a hard stop. That's what ABS is for. So when that system is down and you have to make an emergency skid stop, and the ABS isn't activating, you're going to skid a lot longer, sometimes 4 or 5 times further in your travel until that car stops.
So we all agree that that's pretty much a myth.
That is a myth.
Okay. So all right. So let's go to Lee's one here that he came up with was should you ever change transmission fluid because the new fluid will cause it to break completely?
Complete myth. You should change your fluid on a very routine basis, and you should flush the fluid. I've had so many people come in and tell me, I've heard that you should never flush. Yeah, you should never flush your system. And I go, where'd you hear that from? And they'll come up with inevitably.
From someone who didn't have the equipment to do it.
Well, that's exactly right.
They didn't want to spend the money.
That's exactly right.
Or
a service advisor at the dealer, and I'm going, wait a minute, whoa. Dealers are fully stocked with flush equipment and use it routinely.
Yes.
Well, all right. Well, because exactly what Dave said at the beginning, man, when you flush the fluid, you are basically taking out the contaminants, putting in new fluid. Your shift quality gets better. The temperatures in the transmission are dissipated by at least 15 times. I mean, it prolongs the life of the unit.
Well, and what I hear, the reason why I think people have that thought process and that myth is out there is because there is certain people out there that did not service their vehicle properly. And what happens is when they go to service it, and this is all, we've all done this a long period of time. I've had customers that have brought their vehicle in and said they got a shifting problem or we found a shifting problem or whatever. Yeah. And we serviced it and it made it better. Yeah. And made it go away. It was fine. And then we've had them where the transmission already had been damaged internally and it was too far gone. So we went ahead and flushed it, and that new fluid in there has a cleaning agent in it, and it made it worse. Now, that doesn't happen all the time, and that's where you have to evaluate that when you get the vehicle into your shop and figure that out.
And I think you're absolutely right, but I think it's important that you brought up something that's important, and that is people need to recognize what transmission fluid is. It's 90% detergent. Okay, your transmission fluid is supposed to discolor. It's doing its job because it is a sealed system. Yeah. Okay, in all cases, and it is recycling through. And if your transmission fluid is getting dirty, it doesn't mean your transmission's failing. It means the fluid is doing its job properly. Mm-hmm. What I will tell you this is, and I want you to put the logic behind this. Don't wait till the fluid gets dark, okay, before you decide to become proactive in doing something about it, which goes to your point, Dave. Fix it when it's not broke. That's the best time to fix something. Yeah. Be the proactive. So use a mileage recommendation and prolong the life, because heat is the big killer.
It's typically 30,000 miles. But
bingo.
If you have a truck and you're hauling a trailer, you're putting more stress on the transmission.
15,
you're pulling
20.
Twice the load that truck was built to or the vehicle, whatever. I mean, people are pulling trailers with non-trucks. I mean, they're pulling them with their car because they got a business that, they're hauling stuff behind there. That transmission, because of the extra weight, when it shifts, it doesn't hit the clutch as hard.
Right.
Like it would if it had the lighter weight behind it. It just starts to slip a little bit. Well, there's clutches in there. That clutch material starts to wear out, and it leaves deposits in the oil.
No question.
And furthermore, these new transmissions, let's say for the last 15 plus years, 20 years, have used electronic solenoids.
You bet.
There is a plate, like a whole box inside of the transmission pan. Those electronic solenoids are shifting that transmission. They're closing one valve, opening the other, making the vehicle shift into the next gear. We have 10-speed transmissions now. Mm-hmm. Back when automatic transmissions came out, they were 2-speed. then the 3-speed, then the 4-speed overdrive.
Now we've got 6-speed, 8-speed, 10-speed.
Well,
so the more those things shift, the more precisely those solenoids have to be working.
And once again, I want to go to one quick point, and it's what I started with. The fluid is an absolute one size does not fit all in transmissions. You have got to be very specific with the fluid that you're utilizing.
Yep.
Some take ULV fluid, some take LV fluid, some take Dextron fluid, some takes Mercon fluid, some take Star type fluid.
Yeah, and there is a lot of different fluid out there.
But you got to be specific.
But one of the things so we all agree that that's a myth.
Okay, no question.
And we definitely know where it comes from because somebody had a bad experience with a transmission that went out that they didn't service on a regular basis.
It's interesting.
But I also want to say...
It's not true, but it stays around forever.
Right. And I want to also... And then we got to move on, but I want to say one other thing is that transmission repairs have gotten to be a lot more expensive.
Outrageous.
Just because of the things you guys just said. Yeah. The speeds, 10-speed, 6-speed, whatever.
I say that the amount of speeds is by the thousands of what it's going to cost you to fix it.
Yeah. So
8-speed, $8,000. 9-speed, $9,000.
So
it's just ridiculous.
Putting premium 91 to 93 octane fuel into a regular car gives you more horsepower and cleans the engine better.
Here, let me go on camera live. Not.
No, that's a complete fallacy.
Yeah.
Unless you got money to burn, go ahead and put whatever you want.
And it's there's some vehicles out there that if you open the door for the filler, it'll tell you on there, make sure you use a certain octane.
Right.
There's certain cars out there that do that, but
there are cars that are designed to have 91 octane.
Right, 100%. And
you should use it.
But most cars, they don't require it. You're not benefiting.
90%
you're just spending
of cars
more. You're just spending more money. You're not benefiting from it.
But now, just along this line, we have a new fuel that's being introduced here in the next little bit. It's called this E15.
Yeah.
And you got to
it's been around for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
But it's E10.
in other states.
But it was E10. We had it here for a while.
Yeah. I think we were only 4. I think ethanol is what it is.
Ethanol, that's what it is.
But it was a winter, what they call it, a winter blend or whatever.
Right.
But now it's coming up to E15, and you can't use that in every car. You got to be very careful because that is not
garbage.
Well, we used to own a gas station.
Yeah,
back
it
in
is
the day,
not. It is not functional in every automobile out there.
We had a gas station back in the 90s and 80s and 70s, and they came out with some of that stuff, and it caused it did cause some problems, but the newer cars, the way they're designed, they say don't put it in a vehicle less than 2001, I think is what if vehicles older than 2001, don't use it. But yeah, they are coming out with it and they're trying to get the fuel costs down,
right?
Because it's corn or it's something grown that they can turn into fuel.
Right.
It's rotten, whatever.
It's a natural product.
So, all right, you have to take your car to the dealership for routine maintenance, or the warranty will be voided. The factory warranty will be voided.
One of the biggest myths out there.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
It's an absolute lie. We have a big sign in our thing called the Moss-Magnuson Act. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's the shape of a stop sign.
1978, was it?
1978. I believe it. You're right. The key to it is everybody wants you to believe that you have to go there for maintenance or you void the warranty, and that's just simply untrue. That would be kind of like a monopoly on trade, and it's non-existent. It's unreal. You go to a qualified mechanic.
And you have records. Bingo. That's what you need, records.
Records is just absolutely the essential key, because when you're doing something, you want to make sure you're recording it. Even if you're doing an oil change at home, you can keep a record, and guess what? Your warranty will still be in play. Yeah. Because you've got the records that I did do this work, I did do this job. Now, of course, they want to see that, you took it to a qualified technician and everything else.
Right, and they did it properly. You got to do it right, and they got to be certified and be an up and up shop. They just they can't be fly by night.
But you absolutely do not have to go back to the dealer after you buy the car for one reason, for one thing at all, other than any kind of a warranty repair or a recall.
Yeah. And I will say one thing. One of my customers came to me about 20 years ago and bought a brand new car. And he said when he bought the car, he went into the financing and went through their whole process. And they told him, no, if you don't bring the car back to us, the warranty is voided.
Ooh,
so
dangerous.
he's one of those guys that reads everything. He read the whole manual and he went back to the guy and he showed me in here where it says that. And it didn't say it. Obviously, we know that's not true. So
well, and now let me throw one out there. I don't know. Would you have some more?
I don't know. We got a few more here. So
well, come on, bring it on.
Okay, so when inflating your tires, you should fill them up to the PSI number printed on the side of the tire.
No.
Negative.
You should look at what your tire rating is in the door. Generally, they put the stickers in the door. You can also get them out of the glove box. You can also look in your manuals. However, I would not put it to the rating of the tire because that's the maximum inflatable.
Well, and also too, you got to remember the tires. Those tires fit, a bunch of different vehicles.
Yeah.
So the thing of it is the weight of that vehicle, how it handles. When they're designing these vehicles, they're designed to handle a certain way.
Yeah.
And the tire pressure is a big part of that.
Yeah.
So when we tell our customers, you got to look on the door to fill it up to the tire pressure. Back in the day, before the sticker was on there, we used to fill it up to close to that tire pressure on the tire. Back in the day, that's what we used to do.
The interesting thing is some vehicles, you have drastic differences in front tire inflation and rear tire
100%,
inflation.
Yep.
So it might be 45 pounds in the front and 80 in the rear. And if you rotate the tires, you also have to remember to deflate the tires for the front and inflate the tires for the rear. Some vehicles are set up that way, and it's very specific in order to be able to...
when they're
TPMS.
Cargo. Yeah, they're cargo vehicles, So
absolutely.
The tire pressure is always greater in the rear than it is in the front.
Yeah.
So yes, very truly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So how about this one? We talked about this on another podcast, but I'll throw it out there. Car air conditioning systems naturally use up or burn through refrigerant over time and just need a regular top off.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Total myth.
I will tell you this. Once again, I think we talked about it a little bit here. You should do yearly maintenance, you know what I mean, on your air conditioning system.
100%. Yeah, it is. But if you're burning through Freon and
you got a leak,
you got a problem because it's a totally sealed system. Yeah. And there again, we said this on the other podcast. Freon is like hairspray; it just dissipates in the air. It doesn't run out on the ground.
Yeah,
Yep. There'll be little evidence unless it's a fairly severe leak. You'll see the oil start coming out of the line too, or where the leak is at.
Yeah.
It'll be on the hose, on the line, in the condenser, in the evaporator, which you can't see because it's in the dash. So you need special
might see it on the drain if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yes.
So we all agree that that's total myth.
Absolutely a myth.
Okay. Every time you get new brake pads, you are required to buy brand new metal brake rotors as well.
Myth.
Yeah. I mean, we've turned them for years,
right.
and everything. Now, I will say that a lot of these cars anymore, they do require, when you do the pads, that you have to do the rotors just because the rotors are already started out so thin.
Correct.
And if you make them any thinner, then what happens is they just end up warping because they're...
And then they come back to you and you end up having to do it under warranty for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because your brake job failed.
Right. And there are some specific vehicles that do require the rotors to be replaced with the pads. Some of the Europeans and things like that.
Yeah.
Because they start out very minimalistic in the beginning.
Take the weight off of them.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things that goes into it. So,
but the absolute. I think the question was, you absolutely have to?
Every time it says every time no. And there again, it's not one size fits all.
Right.
I don't want to say never change them, and I don't want to say
call,
change them all the time because it changes.
It depends.
I will tell you this. I'm a big proponent that I think you should surface the rotors each time you replace the brake pads so that you get a new fresh face, you know what I mean? And you can burnish in the pad and you get a better stopping performance. However, in some cases, I mean, a lot of times we'll see cars that have come in and been pad slapped and all that term simply means that they threw brake pads on it, trying to make it safe again without doing anything to the rotor.
And what is unsafe about that practice though, not turning the rotors at all, because of the unevenness.
Correct.
That those rotors wore out in.
Yeah.
The whole brake surface, the surface is not mating 100% and
not
giving you
true.
the brake. So it can increase your braking distance by as much as 50%.
No question.
If those pads are not squeezing on those rotors.
No question.
So yeah, we all agree that's
dangerous.
Okay, so if your battery, this is number 10, guys, and we're on the home stretch here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, if your battery dies, you can just jumpstart it and then leave your car idle in your driveway to fully charge.
No. Unrealistic.
No.
Not at idle.
No. Well, and the bottom line is that why is the battery dead?
There we go. The underlying
there we go.
What killed the battery? Is your alternator not charging the battery?
Right.
Do you have loose terminals? I mean, there are different things.
Do you have a shorted battery?
Yeah, there's a battery. Is a battery
internal
shorted
cells,
out?
yeah.
So there's so many things that go into that that battery needs
Did you
to be
leave the
tested.
headlights on?
Right. If you left the headlights on, and
Did we leave a dome light on?
And can that ruin your battery?
And the answer is absolutely
Drain it
yes.
down to dead.
You bet.
And it was already borderline. It'll probably kill the battery.
You bet.
It'll never come back.
There's so many cars out there now, the newer cars. If you leave the headlights on, they automatically go out, or you not like the old days where you left them on and it would just burn bright until the battery went dead.
Yeah.
So it's helped a lot with that scenario.
You bet.
But no, leaving it idle in your and this is another point. I've had customers that'll tell me, my neighbor went out of town and she wants me to come over and start the car and let it run for 5 or 10 minutes because she doesn't want to sit there and never run.
Yeah.
I go, you're doing more damage by doing that than you are by just leaving it alone, because you're starting it up, you're drawing all that amperage out of the battery to start the car. You're only letting it run for 5 minutes, 10 minutes maybe at the most. You're draining that battery quicker than if you would just leave it alone.
What I think should be recognized here is the battery at idle isn't really getting a full complement of charge. You need to raise the RPM, 1800 RPM, to where you're taking it off idle. And that is when you're most efficient at your charging. Mm-hmm. When we're driving cars, we very rarely are driving them at idle. We're not driving a car at idle. So I want you to think about the conditions under which the battery really is getting the most, benefit, and it is off idle. So even if you are going to jump a car and you want to try to use the alternator, because in essence that's what's happening, trying to use the alternator to rejuvenate the battery, you want to take it off idle. And I don't mean go ape crazy, not 3,000 RPM or something like that. We're going to do damage to other components, but raise it up 1,500, 1,800, maybe 2,000 RPM max, and allow for the alternator to engage or get excited to be able to properly give a charge to that battery. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to fix anything. It really doesn't. It just simply means you have an opportunity to re-engage the battery if it is able to be rejuvenated.
And I will say one other thing too, that by making that alternator work that hard,
you're doing bad things to the car.
Right. So the thing of it is the ideal. If
you're losing fuel economy because it's staying in full engagement, trying to keep the battery alive.
Yeah.
So you're losing a couple miles per gallon. That's no kidding.
Get a trickle charger.
They're cheap. You can get on Amazon.
Yeah, put it on there. Let it charge overnight, and then come out there the next day, and you'll be fine. Yeah. But you definitely don't want that alternator to have to work that hard, because if you do, you're hurting the life of it.
Well, and in today's vehicles, batteries are vital, but they're expensive, and especially with all the electronics things that we have in
alternators
cars,
and batteries,
nowadays,
everything is. Well, look at the amperage and the voltage on these alternators; they're huge. So, well, you know what, guys? It's been another great show, and it's been enjoyable, and I hope that people out there in podcast land really got something out of it, and that these are we all agree that these are myths, and
they are.
And if you really like the show and you want to subscribe to it, go to like and subscribe to podcastunderneaththehood.com.
And you know what? If you have any questions, anything that you would like to know a little bit about, please don't hesitate. Write us, email us, text us, do what is necessary. Get us that information. We'll research it, find out what we're going to do, and bring it back to you.
Appreciate your attention. Thanks.
Thank you.